Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the inaugural season of the NASCAR Class C Maconi Setup Shop Fix Series, the first of many for this recently rebranded series. This evening, we're excited to be bringing you top split action for the weekly Strength of Field race from iRacing's virtual Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action for all types of racing, including the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you are racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is David Kreutz, with Eddie Smith working at the controls as our producer, using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. David, Michigan, when it comes to the racing in the Irish hills of its state, is a very fast and fun racetrack that many drivers love to battle each other on. It's a super speedway-sized track these days, but it also has heavy tire strategy and racing across all the lanes. What can we expect to see here tonight in Brooklyn?
After what's happened to Auto Club Speedway, Michigan International is in a one-of-its-kind sort of situation. 2-mile track in Brooklyn, Michigan's been around for over 50 years, opened in 1968, and no major changes have been made since 1995. Every year, over 130,000 spectators see the NASCAR stock cars go at it each year in person. Tonight, we'll see the virtual trucks go at it for over 25 laps. The thing about Michigan, D-shaped oval, 5 degrees of banking down the front stretch, 12 during the front stretch, my apologies, it's 5 down the back, and 18 degrees in the corners. We've seen speeds regularly above 200 miles an hour, and each lane is capable of getting momentum, making passes, and having runs at victory. Everyone has a chance at Michigan. That's the way it usually goes, and with qualifying already on the way, the best of the best are already taking their hot laps. We'll find out how the grid lines up in just a minute.
More than 200 drivers registered for tonight's action, and in turn, we have one of our highest S.O.Fs of the entire season here on Maconi Entertainment, an S.O.F of more than 4,400. Justin Duran just so happens to have the quickest time on the qualifying sheet, the 39.9 so far. Compare that to the bottom of the board, a 40.3 by Gavin Gleitzman. This track, very quick. The setup, just about everybody who's put in 2 laps is within 1/10 of a second.
And it's very close inside the top 5 at the moment, only separated by 36 one-thousandths of a second. That's how quick every driver is here. Fantastic. Very small gaps between all of them. As it stands, the 18 machine of Justin Duran is on the top of the board, but the entirety of the field that's taken laps are all within striking distance. We're going to look right now at the 15th place driver. That's going to be Tyler Skockson, and it looks like qualifying ends before his run gets to a close. So for him, not going to be the best start, but he still has a time put in. That'll put him above quite a few drivers in the back end of the field as we take a look at our starting grid.
A lot of drivers coming to the racetrack, 24 trucks, the max total you can have in a split, all set to hit the track for 30 laps here at Michigan. Let's take a look at how they start on that pylon. Justin Duran, as mentioned, starts up at the pole in the fast lane truck. Frank Horley starts alongside, looking to hang 10 the outside of the front row. Jared Nelson and Ryan Andrew, top 4 starting spots, with Curtis Sutton of Rackley War in 5th. John Ellis amongst the top 25 in points entering tonight in 6th. Right behind them is Austin Johnson. Expect him to be quick, one of the Nexus Esports drivers. Cole Parkin starts off in 8th. Jordan Coots, we'll talk about this a little bit. A team change entering the week to Peak Performance Motorsports. Adam Wright, the top 10. Joey Misavage starts off at 11th, alongside Peyton Howe and Brandon Gagnon. Home with David Werner in 14th. Sarek Scottson starts off 15th with Gavin Gleitzman, the second last to take a time. The very last to take a time just so happens to be Jeffrey Maconi in 17th. The first driver not to set a time, Dylan Basin. Expect him to fly through the pack tonight with Trevor Perry, a C-fixed competitor who's been strong for very least multiple times, and the streamer starts off 19th. Lean Heron starts 20th. Ryan Oates, the Division 2 points leader, starts off in the back of the field alongside Eric Cup, Cody Kalil, along with Rod Peterson, the last driver in on iRating and the last driver on the starting grid. 24 trucks getting all set to go racing here for Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series S.O.F action. Let's take a quick glance towards the point standing, shall we? As entering the night, Jacob Snyder has that points lead, David. However, He's not here tonight. Ryan Andrew, a good chance to pick up solid points with the S.O.F race. In turn, same can be said for Austin Johnson. And for many others amongst that top 10, we'll see what happens here already. Snyder entering the night with a 39-point advantage over Andrew.
Ryan Andrew looking to make a big move, coming off a major victory in the strength of field race at Richmond. Back-to-back is, of course, the hope. He's only got a few drivers ahead of him here in qualifying. If he wants to make that a reality, it certainly is possible here. He's only got 2 victories, and out of all the drivers inside our top 20, he is tied for the lowest in the wins category, but he has been especially consistent. Finishes high in every event that he runs in this series, and that's kept him up there with the points leader in Jacob Schneider. You said Jacob isn't here tonight. That's a big deal. If Ryan can rake in the points, we might just find ourselves with a new points leader heading out of Michigan.
And in turn, as we get ready to look at your Maconi Setup Shop race analysis, it's critical to mention that when it comes to these drivers, many of them in the field tonight, they get set for 30 laps here at Michigan. Cautions can be a factor here, but you can make it on gas. 2 tire sets, just 2 are available in the pits. 1 green-white checkered available if necessary. So let's look at your race analysis as we get all set for the strength of field race. David, who's your pick?
I'll tell you this much, he might not be in the front of the field, did not qualify. Dylan Basin has caught my eye. I've seen him race against drivers such as Jordan Coots in this field. He is quick, and I have a feeling he'll be able to run right through the pack as he normally does. Tonight, he's got quite a stacked field to run right through. The best of the best here in the C-Fix Series, brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop, looking to get it started here in Brooklyn, Michigan. The green flag flies for the first time tonight. 30 laps of racing. Let's go at it here in the Michigan International Speedway.
Already 3 wide, at least a couple different drivers going to the outside before we even got to the start and finish line. Adam Wright already outside on the top groove. Most of the field staying to the middle 2 lanes as well as the bottom of the racetrack to start things off. Already the bump draft for Curtis Sutton, getting a push from John Ellis as they go 3 wide in the battle for 4th.
And now it's going to be multiple drivers going for that podium position. Frank Horley trying to hold it down. He's got Adam Wright and Ryan Andrew right there with them. They're still side by side coming out of corner number 4. One driver is going to be down on the apron, and it looks like a huge move for a driver. Cole Hawkin, 1 down low.
Dylan Basin through the grass. Talk about passing in the grass. How about making 3 passes in the grass for Basin?
Dylan Basin's a man on a mission. He does make it a big risk. It looks like he still took away a few spots from that endeavor. Down low, the sim seats number 8 went, and he is now charging down the stretch, looking to make something happen as he gets passed multiple times over, at least in part. Now, Basin, as we look down to the 3rd turn entry, he's going to be working that bottom groove, trying to get momentum once again to catch up with those ahead, and there is trouble indeed. 1 down apron.
Curtis Sutton brings out the first caution. One of the main stakes at Rackley Ward, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team brings out our first caution. Just like that, we're under yellow. Now, David, it's important to mention we've seen this in turn 3 on both laps to start the race. The truck with on-cold tires is loose in the pack.
And with such high speeds, if you get loose, you're all but done for. As we take a Maconi Entertainment instant replay, you can see that number 26 machine got caught up in the grass. Let's look a little further back, and as you said, in the pack, Curtis gets loose, drops it down low, and he backs it down, puts it back in quite well, but it looks like him going to the apron as well as one other front runner, that's going to cause us to go under yellow for the first time tonight.
So our first yellow flag of the evening. Tonight's action brought to you in part by Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment. To find out more information, go to MaconiSetupShop.com. The home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more on the iRacing service. Subscriptions available as low as $8 a month. Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the official series sponsor of the NASCAR C-Fix Series. A quickie caution track, so 2 laps per caution period, including this one. So in turn, Rod Peterson, Curtis Sutton, the only drivers taking tires, everyone else taking track position. You know who took track position off those opening 2 laps, though? Cole Ponkin up to 2nd, up 6. Up 12. Lee Heron is in the top 10.
Fantastic moves being made already, and with such a wide racing surface, you're able to do that here in Michigan if you play your cards right. Some drivers like Dylan Basin trying to use the grass there, but most of them making it by on the pavement and making it work quite well. Pocken now inside the podium. You got Lee Heron, as you mentioned. He's made it up the most positions out of anyone, and if you want to make that charge for the victory, get the dirty work out of the way early and go from there. That's now the way things are looking. As you can see, Justin Duran is still the man out in front. Rest of the field still with them as we remain under yellow.
So the hometown driver from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, still up at the point. Towards the bottom third of those on iRating totals tonight. But when it comes to Michigan, it's so important to not just find friends because of that draft effect with these trucks, it seems, but also just picking the right lines. If you're on the wrong line, when the grip starts going away at a certain point of the run, it could be trouble.
And as we saw for our first caution, getting rid of access to that grip, you will go around just like that. Thankfully, in the case of Curtis Sutton, he was in the back of the field, so not many drivers could have hit him. But if you get in trouble up in front, you can go around and make a sort of track blocker here. The more trucks involved, of course, the worse. So you don't want to risk that. You just want to keep it there calmly up in the pack. But aggression already up to some quite high highs, to say the least. Drivers such as Justin Duran now on the defense, seeing such aggressive moves being made from the back to the front.
So Duran looks to set us up for the restart zone. Pocket in second. Nelson and Andrew amongst your top 4 so far. Keep an eye on how one of your top drivers in the standings, the Maconi Esports driver of Andrew, cuts through this field here. But it's also important to time up that restart because this is a track where it's borderline of if it's a first or second gear restart because of the power band and the position of the gear ratio.
And timing the restart is, of course, important in every race. And here, with the fast speeds of the ovals, if you miss the jump, you're going to be caught in the back of the pack, losing a lot of spots. And right now, you can't afford that, especially if you are in the points race. Ryan Andrews still in third right now, remains up in front. Jordan Kuntz, who is top 10 in points, is in 12th here. So a big opportunity to make some gains. You got to time that restart right if you want to get back to work really quickly. 5 laps in, heading to 6. We'll get back on our way for our first restart.
Duran in control of the restart. 25 laps to go. Already looking offset 3 wide before we can get to that restart zone. Green flag waits up at the stand. 25 laps to go, and here we go again. 3 wide before we can get to the start and finish line for the second straight start.
And already going to be aggression 2 rows deep. First and second able to pull away. That's going to be Jared Nelson now in the second spot. Ryan Andrew going to be on the high side of Cole Pocken. And from there, they're side-by-side, multiple lanes deep. The Black Rifle coffee machine on your frame has a huge run. Going to go down to the bottom, take it nearly down to the apron. Double file moves being made right now. You're seeing on the bottom end of the number 13 of Lee Heron. This is Cole Pocken. Going to be right there on the back bumper of Ryan Andrew, rubbing just a bit. And it's going to be a huge move up for the number 88 machine. Going to be another close call as they come down to the turn 1 once again.
3 wide, tight fits. Now 3 wide for the lead with a bobble from Pocken. Andrew forced to turn to the high side. Jared Nelson up to the lead. And this does not look comfortable.
And it's going to be another move right down low, trying to take it 3 wide for the top spot. Lee Heron dives it once again. They're rubbing, almost trading vinyl, and now it's 4 wide with the high side being occupied by the 21 of Adam Wright. 5 wide with Basin. Basin's making moves, and they're going to wreck.
They spin and crash into the grass. Caution flags out for the second time. And that is the big one.
And with 5 drivers across the one piece of track, chaos is certainly going to follow it. And it looks like for Ryan Andrew, Dylan Basin, and many other competitors in frame, it's going to take them out of winning contention indeed.
Ryan Andrew, Jared Nelson, Frank Horo along with Eric Cup getting the worst of it. Could see it happening, though. 4 wide is risky here. 5 wide. Somebody eventually will squeeze.
And it looks like Andrew comes up there with a 21 of Adam Wright, rights in the wall. Andrew's trying to save it, and then he sends it down low. And he's going to take everyone down to the bottom. He even collects Dylan Basin there. That's harsh for every driver involved. The number 8 machine, it looks like he might have gotten out of it, but Andrew going to get involved with everyone there. Spins on the back end of the 15. And there's Spin City here in Michigan.
And with damage being such an important talking point, you see the bumper parts flying around, for example. New damage model in effect for the past couple months when it comes to the iRacing service with these trucks. And when you add damage like this at a high-speed track, it's a massive, massive difference on speed, even with the new damage model, because you're talking about possibly several minutes of damage.
I think right now the big fear for drivers like Andrew involved in that wreck, look at that, he did make some front-end contact. If that motor's got damage, it's almost irreparable with such a small amount of laps on the table here tonight. And if you have anything on the front end, much slower, less aerodynamic, it will be hard to keep up with the pack.
A vast majority of the field having to come down to pit lane, not necessarily just for strategy, but for damage repair. Ellis Jr. right amongst those in. Orley, as mentioned, with damage repair, that's mandatory. Oates coming in, Maconi in, Pumpkin in. Several of your major contenders all having to roll into the pit lane. But this opens up the door for those who stayed out of the trouble. Tires can be pretty advantageous here, yes. But track position is also a big key. With a quick race like this, you'd have to think off and away. Meanwhile, goes Ellis Jr. the first out.
And John Ellis able to beat out the rest of those on pit road. Shortly thereafter, you'll see Ryan Oates, Adam Wright, Jeff Maconi, Cody Colello, Joey Masevich, and Austin Johnson. And it looks like now Rob Peterson rounds out the top 15. Curtis Sutton is up into 7th with a different tire strategy. 6 laps on his stint, he finds himself just outside the top 5. It's looking good for him right now. Maybe he's been able to cut through the field with that strategy, and it could be a long-term play to the checkered flag.
Those who stayed out, though, Herron, Duran, Kuntz, Gleitzman, Zokjan, as well as Trevor Perry. Lee Herron, though, from 20th to 1st, not even a third of the way through. Herron looks like he's got race-winning speed with the way things are playing out.
And race-winning speed, of course, can get you a long way, but the big question is the racecraft with the pack right behind. What can the number 13 do to hold off the entirety of the field right there in his rear bumper? If you can't make it stick, there's going to be a big problem. He gets that tap, isn't able to defend it. If the quarter panel gets a bit of contact, he might be flying up into the wall.
See what happens here for this restart. Herron and Duran have been amongst the top positions since the opening of this race. Jordan Kuntz, a series regular, in a very different look meanwhile. It seems so intriguing to see the color scheme on Jordan Kuntz. We've seen him for so many years with the Proximity Racing colors changing over to Peak now, starting this week, it appears.
And definitely a different look for that number 99 now on your screen. We've most often seen him, of course, with the Proximity colors. A much different, albeit very vibrant scheme still. And it's going to take a little while to get used to that one, but definitely still nice to see him up in the front of the field. Currently 3rd, up 6 spots in the podium. Maybe victory lane is next.
Keep in mind, there had been talks of the potentials mergers in the near future, but now Kuntz looking to wave the field forward for that respective group that's had some solid talent in it over the years. We'll see how this restart plays out, though. Your top 5 or 6 staying out. Your first on tires, Curtis Sutton, who was involved in the first caution. Then John Ellis Jr. on back on the most fresh rubber. Coming up to 19 laps to go here on Maconi Entertainment. Let's watch Picture in Picture. Brought to you by Maconi Entertainment. It's John Ellis Jr. up in the bottom corner. Green flag is out to the very tail end of the restart.
And as you can see in the bottom right of your screen, the Maconi Entertainment picture-in-picture gives you the onboard view of John Ellis as a huge drive right up for Curtis Sutton puts him on top of the number 8 machine. 3 wide already here in Michigan, barely keeping a nose into the 8 machine is, as they keep it mostly double file right ahead of him. Up top, number 22 machine is still going to be Lee Heron with Jordan Kuntz in second. Then side by side will be Justin Dern and Gavin Gleitzman as they come through 3 and 4 once again. A bit calmer than most often, and now 3 wide is not as common. Rarity, as it looks like the number 6 machine of, well, Gavin Gleitzman is getting away, trying to move past the 3 wide gridlock.
Sharp Perry in a throwback paint scheme, stuck up in the middle. How about 4 wide again? As Sutton has to go up to the top. And you're seeing this play out the way we usually see it here at Michigan. You find a friend, you hook up, you draft up through the pack.
And now everyone trying to find a friend. Trust is a major thing here in tracks with such high speeds. When you're going above 175 consistently, you need to make sure you've got someone behind you or in front of you that you can work with and not be afraid of wrecking. Coming through right now, we're riding on board which appears to be the Hallmark machine of Adam Wright. He's got John Ellis Jr. just ahead, working bumper to bumper to keep that toe. Keeping that momentum is critical. Bit of a wiggle there for Ellis. He's going to wash up just a bit high, and that's exactly what you want to avoid. If you lose that speed, more drivers will come up to you, and it could get even dicier than before.
Gleitzman under attack meanwhile. Through the middle. Tokjen on the bottom, a slide underneath the first seam. Not able to fully stick it quite yet. All this is loud. The top 3 are starting to break away a little bit. You can't break away fully here with the draft, but you sure can position yourself where it's your entire grouping of, say, 3 trucks like this who controls the tempo of the main pack.
And the frontman Lee Heron getting away even more than those like Kuntz and Curtis Sutton. He has himself away by almost 0.2 of a second right now, looking to keep that toe broken 15 laps in. Now that they're stringing apart even further behind him, might be a bit safer. Curtis Sutton, after the first caution of the day, has worked his way back up into 3rd for the Rackley War Machinery, and he's looking to get his first victory in strength of field competition here on Monday night. Started inside the top 5, still consistently running quick laps, and with his strategy, newer tire than those ahead of him, he might be able to work them over just a bit more and be quicker when the checkered flag flies.
See how this plays out. Keep in mind, first driver in terms of the most fresh tire cycle is Wright, who is now inside the top 5 with the move. Some drivers blocking towards the very back of the group. The second pack already starting to form. Trevor Perry, Rod Peterson, several others losing touch to the leaders. And if you lose touch to that main group, it's extremely difficult to get it back in the draft without a caution.
That is a certainty. Right now, looks like 7 drivers within a half a second of our leader going back to John Ellis. Then you'll see the pack that we're looking at right now involving those such as Joey Masevich way on back. Now looking back at the front.
Gleitzman spins to the inside of the racetrack. Caution is out for the 3rd time as the 6 slams the wall.
And a nasty hit down to the inside for the Mountain Dew machine. Gavin Gleitzman going to get back on his way. And the number 6 fades back now to the 22nd position.
Well, not going to be too happy in terms of that slide, but it was 3 wide off the corner. It was a close call, though, offset 2 by the corner exit.
And it looks like close calls can't be saved every time. The number 6, at that point, he's a passenger inside this ride, and he comes down, thankfully misses the clip there, but still a hard, square impact on the safer barrier. As we look back about a half a lap ago, you'll see him dive down to the bottom, trying to make a move stick, and he had a lot of room there, but it looks like he came back up on corner exit, and he came back so far that he didn't expect him there, and he went right down immediately after.
Gleitzman does pick up some front nose damage, so Legwo will have to come down to pit to pick up the repairs regardless. But as a result, 12 to go when we come to the stripe. Under yellow, Heron still the leader over Kuntz and Sutton. There's that caution that some drivers may have been nervous about. And with more than half the field already using one set of tires, who uses them? Kuntz does. Heron holds on to it.
And now we're going to see a major change in strategy. Jordan Kuntz leads most of the field down and in. This is the impasse. Drivers will change their strategies or keep what they've got. And from this point onward, almost no choice but to stick with what you have chosen. Down to the bottom, Jordan Kuntz goes. Drivers such as the Curtis Sutton machine back in once again. And with everyone down on pit road, save for Lee Heron, this is going to be risky for the number 13 to stay out, but everyone else playing the same game.
Jeffrey Maconi missing his pit stall by 2 boxes. First one out of the lane. How about a different strategy? Good race off the lane. Justin Duran picking up some spots by 1 second quicker in the lane. But it is Heron, John Ellis Jr., Austin Johnson, Joey Misevich who all stay out and hold track position. The ultimate gain. We've seen how solid it was in terms of if you had speed on the old tires after about a combined 6 laps under green. That was our longest run of the race, though, that just finished.
And now it'll be unlikely to get a long run such as that with such little time remaining. Now drivers going to have to go over the top to make things happen. And just like that, now green flag will come back with less than 10 laps remaining. Crunch time is on, and with most drivers on new tires, we're going to see pushing like you never seen before.
So we get set for the restart coming up by the time we go green with about 10 laps to go. We like to remind you that tonight's action brought to you in part by Maconi Zone, specializing in event organization, promotion, and execution. Contact Maconi Setup Shop LLC for all inquiries. So just about set for the restart. Heron, Ellis Jr., Misevich, and Johnson amongst the top 2 rows. Kuntz and Durand behind them in the fresh tire row. Of note, quick sequence for Austin Wright. Initially had to back up, it appears, for his pit stop sequence, hence why Wright lost a few spots in the lane. Will still start off in 9th. Most drivers still able to keep it clean. Adam Wright nearly runs in the back of Sutton trying to warm up his tires, in fact.
And drivers getting pretty close to each other here, trying to play that strategy of getting heat in the tire. Maybe it won't work out all too well with so few drivers doing it, but any advantage means a big deal for the best field on Monday nights here in the trucks. You know what I'd like to mention? 2 straight weeks in a row, we've gone to our one and only overtime attempt. Do we see that for the 3rd consecutive time? That might be in the minds of these drivers, setting up for that final dash. Until the checkered flag, it might not be lap 30. We might have to go just a bit further.
Major question. How does this now go? Top 4 all on old tires. Coming up towards 20 miles, 10 laps to decide it at this 2-mile oval. Heron in control of the field for the restart zone. Green flags back out. An early launch for Heron this time. A big launch. Is it too big?
I'm not sure if these drivers are going to be happy about that one, but they've got no choice to reel them right back in. Double file multiple rows deep, and Heron goes way high there. Doesn't look like a penalty's confirmed just yet. He's racing once again for lead. Nexus Esports has Austin Johnson dived down to the bottom. The race is on once again up in front.
Wouldn't it be the necessary penalty of a black flag? It would have been the necessary penalty of everyone passing Heron with the draft. Looks like no one able to pass Heron, though. He holds on with Ellis Jr. Top side 3 wide. Durand now on the bottom. Austin Johnson taking up the middle. Heron blocks the lanes. 9 laps to go.
Holding a steady wheel out in front. It's the best he can do in a situation like this. Goes up to the middle line and defends well. But now they're trying to go even higher. They can't stop the speed. Now down to the bottom side, we got the number 5 machine going. Double file there'll be. Take a look at Adam right on the bottom there. Making it 3 wide. It's Curtis Sutton. And it's a 5-car breakaway up in the front of the field.
Joey Misevich spinning down the back straightaway. Cody Colello also involved. We're under yellow. Trevor Perry already taking a tow. Brandon Gagnon turning it around down the back straightaway on the apron. And just like that, another restart.
And now back under yellow. It's going to be a short dash to the finish regardless. And as you can take a look at the back of the field in shambles, the Toyota Tundra on the frame right now has got quite a lot of damage. And hopefully still a chance to keep on driving. Front of the field remains the same, but drivers in trouble. Joey Misevich now going to fade back into 20th. Ira Cup going to be in 19th. As we take a Maconi Entertainment instant replay, here's how it went down.
You see already 4 wide on the offset. Not clear.
And just like that, smoke, tires, gone, and the brakes are shot. And it looks like Misevich caught up in that one. The 23 machine turns at the last second and chooses his own fate in the wreck. How about that quick maneuver to keep him going? Looks like Misevich able to get back on his way too. Multiple drivers caught up. 64 looks like he got out just fine.
What can you say when it comes to dodging incidents at Michigan? Sometimes you have to have a little bit of moxie, as the 23 truck says. But as we get ready here, near 2 lap to go sequence this time by, John Ellis Jr., intriguing enough, deciding to come down and pit this time to take the final set of tires. A few others also electing to get damage repair, if not take their final set if they have it already at the back of the field. So, question is, how long can Herrin play the Pied Piper role, a la Brad Keselowski a few years ago, and have it work with how tight the margins are tonight?
It all depends, of course, now on the mercy of other drivers in the strategy. We've seen now you can run your own race nice and good, but I feel like now every driver behind or even in front of you could determine whether or not you've got a shot to get home at the end of the day. Some drivers trying to just hold their own line, some others trying to push down to the bottom to make it by. I think now it all depends whether or not you've got the right people around you if you want to make your race work, especially with such a small amount of laps, even compared to the overall distance remaining.
Also intriguing, to say the very least, how this goes on. So when we get back going, about 5 to go expected when we take the green. Amongst those with clean trucks, 13th on forward, 18th on back on your pylon, currently getting more than a minute of damage repair, rather, per truck currently. So take them out of the equation. Adam Wright, however, it's pretty much shown he's not afraid to be aggressive to put himself in the equation no matter what.
And Adam Wright, I'll tell you this much, he was working on that final run before the caution there, looking on board with him, currently in 6th. He's gained quite a few positions already, and he was looking good to go for the podium before that caution flew. Now with 5 green flag laps remaining at the most, he knows what he's got to do. More of the same. He's on the bottom side right now, where most drivers want to be, on the bottom or the second groove, so he can use that to his advantage and maybe work with these guys up ahead to make something click for that 21.
So once again, to regroup your top 3 rows, Herrin and Duran. 2 different strategies there. Duran on fresh rubber. Herrin has not pit once this entire race. Sutton, he's on fresh rubber. Austin Johnson stayed out with Herrin during the second to last caution on your order. Then behind them is Coons and Wright. So we get set for what could be a very busy 10 miles. If you are amongst these drivers in the heart of the pack, what's it going to take to get this win? What's it going to take to get by this entire front group with how crazy this is about to get?
I think now you just got to let everything play out in front of you if you can avoid it. We've seen how dicey these drivers have been. Drivers going down to the apron, the grass, the high side of the wall, anywhere in between. Maybe the best way to play it out is just to make sure you're all right, and hopefully drivers will not end up in your way. Pace car going to drop in this time by. It's going to be 5 laps to go this time through. The final dash is on here in Michigan, led once again by Lee Herrin.
Back underway, Herrin with a solid start. Let's go 3 wide at the stripe again. Why don't we? Sakjan not able to get any help this time. Johnson helping Heron on the bottom. Duran not getting any help at him. Right shuffles to the middle and peels him off the top groove. Here comes Johnson on the block. Oh, and where in the world did Dylan Basin come from?
And now Dylan Basin making his way through. Look at this machinery. We're going to look at Curtis Sutton on board.
Nearly lost Dylan Basin, in fact, to technical issues, so that nearly went bad very quickly. Curtis Sutton getting shuffled in fast. Oh, and a scissor block on right.
And it is on now. Make it lap number 27 this time by. They're going to be 3 wide there, just outside the top 3. Slicing down in, your new race leader of Austin Johnson does, as they go almost 5 wide for lead. Dylan Basin is up in front.
The ESC driver of Dylan Basin leads the bottom on the aggressive move. Heron up the middle, Johnson up top. 4 wide in row 2 as Wright gets shuffled back. There go the tires for Heron as Johnson goes up the hill. Now it's Basin playing the lines as they fight hard for second. 3 laps to go.
And now the final 3 to get it done. 6 miles at most for Basin, who's worked all races. One driver goes down all the way to the bottom, and he's coming back up. Looks like another save in the back of the field. They all stay green. Looks like multiple drivers keep it together, and Dylan Basin now is an even smaller pack to work with. Down the stretch, we got one driver faking down low. He'll make it for real. That's going to be Justin Duran going down to the bottom side on Basin. Side by side through 3. It's a 2-truck breakaway. Then right behind him is going to be Austin Johnson.
3 wide still for 4th. Dylan Basin underneath Duran now for the lead. 2 laps to go. 4 miles to battle it out. Basin and Duran going back and forth for the lead. Kuntz trying to line it up the middle. Johnson getting shuffled out. 3-truck battle for the race win as they crash behind him for 4th. Johnson in the wall. It's another big one off the corner. Most of your top 10 involved.
Welcome to overtime. Another caution sent us for our 3rd extended finish in a row. Austin Johnson gets a bad piece of it. Same situation for Tyler Skozen. And now the caution flies for what is the final time, regardless of how this race goes from here. Nasty hit, gonna bring us back under yellow. How's about we take a Maconi Entertainment instant replay and work out what just happened?
Curtis Sutton, the only driver with mandatory repairs from this sequence. Here's the replay. What can you say? You can see it happening and quickly.
And in a situation like that, you can't figure it out quick enough. It looks like for the most part, Austin Johnson gets a tap from the back end. May be able to keep on going here, but with so much track position lost so late in the race, that is devastating regardless. He fades back just out inside of the top 20. It's Tyler Skozen now outside the top 20 as we take a look once again at the run that led up to it. 3 wide, up high Austin Johnson was, and 1 tap sent it all into havoc.
And the squeeze with Skozen, indeed part of the trigger. Johnson involved, several others having to check up along the apron. Misavage Munstell significant damage after that. John Ellis also picking up bad damage from that as well. And just like that, about 4 clean trucks up at the front. Check that 3 who got through fully. Basin, Duran, and Kuntz who are all in front of it. And overtime is officially triggered. So, how does that work here on iRacing? Well, it's simple. You get to the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. If there is a wreck before we take the white, however, we finish under caution. So, quite simply, do not cause an incident to end the race under yellow, or better yet, do not get into an incident and you get a solid finish. After all, 17th on back is destroyed.
And after that, of course, you still got a good shot for a top 15 IRA Cup. Right now, I'm going to be in 16th For the majority of the field, they want to chase the top 10 at the very minimum. Now as they roll down the backstretch, Dylan Basin, your new leader, he's had to work very hard to get up here, involved in an incident, went down to the grass to make some passes. He's been up and down the order in the most literal of senses, and now he wants to wrap it up on top. Justin Durand and Jordan Kuntz, they'd like to take that away from him. It's a star-studded top 3 as they come around one more time. Pacing still in order, but when the pace car goes down, the final laps of racing, no matter what, will come here on Maconi Entertainment.
Lakeland, Florida's Dylan Basin has had a phenomenal race. Several others looking to just have a clean run to the checkered. And here's how wild that incident was in terms of the timing. With the new damage model, if you have enough time, you can get the full damage just about fixed. Nearly brand new, if not just about like new. Gleitzman is in 6th after spinning into the inside wall for one of our previous caution flags. It still has a shot for this race now.
And we've seen drivers recover from cautions before. We saw, of course, earlier on in the going, Curtis Sutton was up in the front of the field. Now he's retired, of course, one lap down. But you can make it out of a caution and keep racing up ahead with 1 lap to green in the pacing procedure. Now or never. Jeff Maconi inside the top 10. He's in 7th. Lee Herron's going to be 8th. Adam Wright is 9th. And Cole Pauken rounds out the top 10. Your top 5, star-studded as I've mentioned beforehand. And they've been up front since the jump. Through all the troubles, they've made it this far. They just have to make it 4 green flag miles longer.
So getting all set to go. A few drivers still catching up to the field. But Dylan Basin has had to do a lot this race. Passing through the grass, sliding to the grass and having to hold on to it from the first big one. Charging from the back to the front again late. Now can he do it by being up at the front and being in control of what has been a feisty pack at Michigan? 2 laps to go for Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series S.O.F action here on Maconi Entertainment. Basin, Durand, front row. Green flag is out. 4 more miles to go. A perfect start on the inside.
And exactly what Dylan Basin needs, he gets. With 2 laps remaining, gotta break away that pack if you want any opportunity to make it stick for the race win. Now, Jordan Kuntz gonna be clearing in 2nd. These two have raced each other in league competition before. They are no strangers to one another. Now, it's gonna be Basin out in front, not too far behind. Jordan Kuntz there on the back bumper. He'll go high. He's gonna try to make it side by side and stick you through 3 and 4.
Durand looking to help Kuntz. Slide to the back. Maconi, and the caution is out. It's John Ellis Jr. who gets spun from the top 4. And Dylan Basin will take the yellow and the white flag together to finish the race.
John Ellis in the final caution will bring us to the checkered under yellow. Side by side, Basin and Kuntz giving it their all. But the race can end just a bit short as now Basin claws back to the pace car to finish this one off. John Ellis, final yellow, and for the 2nd time in 3 weeks, we end the Maconi Setup Shop Strength of Field race and see fixed under the caution flag.
So Dylan Basin tries to become one with the pace car. All well, his matching race truck able to charge in some very wild passes all day. 5 wide through the grass, a slip and slide through the grass on the opening lap of this race. From 18th to 1st, just like that, for the Elliott Sauer Esports driver of Dylan Basin. Checker flag waving up at the stand. Lakeland, Florida's Dylan Basin. See the checker to pick up the S.O.F race victory in the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series here from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
For Dylan Basin, he worked as hard as he could to get it up in front and take that win. Immediately disconnects after the checkered flag. That's it for him. Jordan Kuntz comes home in 2nd, and then in your third position, it will be Justin Duran. All in all, great driving from all those up in front. A little chaotic from there on out, though. It seems like most drivers having trouble here with the high speeds and a bit of a lack of grip, especially in our longer runs.
So we finish under caution as attrition came to be pretty significant for parts of this race. Most of the field still finishes, but many finish with damage. Let's take in turn as drivers have now officially all across the stripe. Look at how they run here tonight for Maconi Entertainment. So it's Dylan Basin who leads 7 laps to take the victory in a 6 caution affair over Jordan Kuntz, finishing under yellow. Justin Duran starts on the pole, finishes with the top 3, a solid iRating gain. Gavin Gleitzman in 4th, a great recovery for the 6, with Adam Wright in 5th. Rod Peterson, the last driver on iRating in the field, survives the chaos to go from 24th to 6th, with Jeffrey Maconi very quietly to 7th. 8th spot, Lee Heron, Cole Parkin, and Cody Colello, your top 10. Peyton Howell, Frank Horrell, along with Ryan Oates, David Werner, and Brandon Gagnon in the top 15. But Savage Cup, Scotchin Ellis Jr. finish on the lead lap. Austin Johnson 1 lap down after the incident that triggered overtime. Curtis Sutton doesn't finish the race. Fortunate for a driver who was inside the top 10 much of the night, Trevor Perry, he ends up finishing 13 laps down. Nelson and Andrew also do not finish the race, both down 26 laps apiece. So that's hooked top to bottom at the running order here tonight from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Drivers getting themselves positioned. When we come back, we'll discuss what happened here at Michigan. You're watching Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway for coverage of the Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix Series S.O.F. race here on Maconi Entertainment. Justin Prince, David Kreutz, Eddie Smith with you as we get set to discuss what fared out in a busy finish from Michigan. Some drivers taking the time to speak with us here amongst that top 3 in what was a wild finish, but under caution, Jordan Kuntz coming so close right before that caution wave, side by side for the lead. Jordan, first of all, how difficult is it knowing how close it was to picking up another S.O.F. victory?
It's a bit annoying that not get the victory there with the caution. It was a caution-filled race, but that's how it goes sometimes. And I think I'm lucky just to survive that race with all the chaos and nearly going 5 wide on like the second lap. And just to even say I finished the race with a 0x is impressive.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was it like having to pick those lines, find the right lanes, find the right spots to keep it clean? When it at Michigan, it's like a hornet's nest, and a very big hornet's nest, about 1,000 hornets deep nest at Michigan.
Yeah, my line, I was just wanting to say to the outside, though the fastest line, but it could have it was a big risk to take the outside, but I knew with the position and people around me at the end, the outside was the right way to go. And the beginning ways, it just whatever line seems to be moving, it's the one to pick, and hope you don't get caught up in a wreck. But just this track is just basically a Swiss Speedway with this setup.
Now, one more question, and the reason I ask is because the connection to you in what's on the truck over the years. A new look for you this week. How are you feeling with the new organization?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. It gives me a new opportunity to see what round 2 is in Roads Pro, practice with them, and get all the experience I can for whenever I try to make round 2 next year.
Well, congratulations on the top 3. A good night for the points for the C-Fix Championship. Jordan
Thank
Coots,
you.
thank you indeed. Jordan Coots coming away in second spot. Dylan Bates in first. Justin Duran in third, remember. And David, in turn, a wild finish. A wild race in general. Yes, cautions breed cautions, but also battles breed 5 wide down the straightaways.
And tonight was fantastic when it came to battles. That is for certain. Say what you will, aggressive driving, most definitely. But all throughout, these drivers were putting their hearts into the passion, of course, behind the wheel. Saw the movement up and down the track using every line, taking every opportunity. Just a shame tonight it ended up finishing under yellow. Overtime finishes are nice, but unfortunately, even this one succumbs to the caution flag. For Dylan Basin, hard charge, and he certainly put the work in to get that win. Jordan Kuntz, who's raced him many times before, just hoping to have just a few more miles to have a chance to chase him down. I'm sure whenever he gets the chance to do this again, he'll hope it doesn't end under yellow the way we saw tonight.
We'll see what happens next time out, to say the very least. Just 2 drivers, by the way, finished without incident points. Lee Heron and Jordan Kuntz. But on that note, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks to the race sponsor tonight, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as our broadcast partner, Maconi Competition. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside David Kreutz in the booth with Eddie Smith producing. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. I hope you stay tuned to all our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.